Hi everybody, Elena is here. So today I actually decided to do a very unusual video which I'm honestly have been thinking of doing for a very long time, but I was not brave enough and all that stuff, and today I finally decided to do it. So this video would be very personal, and in this video I'm gonna actually tell you my story with the whole fitness and nutrition and me being overweight, and I also would like to tell you about all my credentials which I have, and pretty much one of the goals which I'm pursuing with this video is kind of kill a little bit of the prejudice, in a sense that my story is not very traditional, in a sense that I'm only 28 years old, in a sense that when you look at me, you don't always think that I have 20 years experience in fitness, and I'm all blonde and all this pink around me, as you can see. So sometimes I have a sense that people perceive me as I'm not sure what I'm doing, or I'm too young and all that stuff. So that's part of the reason why I've decided to do this video. As I said, it's going to be very honest. I'm taking a huge risk, but honestly, at that point of time, I'm not afraid of any judgment, because I'm not trying to present myself as a person who knows it all, but I'm kind of want to just share my side of the story. Alright, I'm going to start. This video would be a little bit long because I have a lot to say. My story is pretty long, and as with many people, it's not always, very smooth road when it comes to, weight loss, getting in shape, and all that stuff, and fitness and nutrition, and I'm not an exception. So one of the reasons why I also decided to do this video is that because I want to inspire you. I want you to tell that you can change, and I hope that you find my story motivational. Alright, I'm going to begin with the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, I'm almost 28 years old, like 27 and 10 months or something. It's not like I'm counting or anything like that. And my story with fitness and my love to food started very long ago. When I was a kid, when I was 5-6 years old, I grew up in a very bad neighborhood, in a sense that, it was very poor, and we had a lot of drug addict people. It was very depressing place to be, and my entire childhood, I pretty much spent eating as much as I could, because I've been I don't know, I've always been hungry for whatever reason. I don't know why, I always, just ate as much as I wanted, everything I saw inside. I never, watch out for the diet or anything like that. I just didn't have this concept, I guess. Nobody taught me about that. And, as I said, what happened is that because I was growing up very poor, I didn't have any of this kind of modern entertainment and gadgets, all the like cartoons on the TV, or like PlayStation or anything like that. iPads, they didn't exist at the time. So pretty much what I've been doing to entertain myself partially, I've been very active. So I would go outside, I would play around, and actually this was the time when I was 8 years old, when I started going into dancing. The reason why I went into dancing, because there were several reasons. The reason number one is that I've been really depressed. My life been really hard. I had very tough relationships with my parents. I've been bullied, well, not my entire life, but majority of my life, because I mentioned, I live in a bad neighborhood, and I study, I'm a good girl and all that stuff, and I actually was sent to like a semi-private school, to which I didn't fit very well, because I said we were poor and I was always different and all that stuff. So fitness became my escape and my sanity. The reason why I've chose dancing at that time when I was 8, because it was something creative. It was very interesting for me, and I loved it so much that I chose a very tough way. I actually took choreography lessons for almost 6 years, and this is where my passion for Pilates and dancing started developing. And this is when I actually got a very, very solid training in a sense of, my balance, my flexibility. And this is when I was taught the discipline. This is when I'm like, I love it so much, the dancing, and I did whatever it took to actually be good at it. It's been a very, very brutal training, the 6 years, I'm not gonna lie. They stretched us and made us work out so hard that, sometimes I spend like 4 hours in a hot tub, just to stay alive because my muscles were so sore. Fortunately, I did not get injured or anything like that, but I don't know how that happened. Probably because, I actually do have pretty decent genetics, I'm not gonna lie, which allowed me to actually, withstand all the stress. And I was young too, and we actually, as I said, were trained very, very properly. There were a lot of warm-up, there were a lot of stuff like that in preparation. So this is where my passion to fitness started, and my first experience with fitness started. At the same time, actually, I've been going into sports. I've been doing a lot of volleyball and all that. On the background, though, my diet has been continued to be really, really poor, because what happened is that the diet, since my childhood, became, the food became my escape. It became my escape from all the stress around me, from all these people around me, from all this, abuse and a lot of other things which was going on in the background, which was not pretty, from the loneliness and all that stuff. So since my early childhood, I get extremely addicted to anything that is called carbohydrates, and especially sugar. So anything sweet, not only it made me happy, it made me stay sane, it made me feel nicer. It became like a drug to me. Actually, many people do not know that, but sugar actually as addictive as cocaine. It actually affects your dopamine levels. So I became absolutely hooked on sugar. But when I was young, when I was still very, very active, I burned it all. So I was weighing like 110 pounds, and with my height like 5'8", it's pretty much borderline anorexic. And then what happened is that when I became 15, my life did change. We moved, and my life became, in my life, appeared that it became a computer, and I pretty much started having a sedentary lifestyle, and I continued to eat. In fact, when I became 15, I lost it completely. I became to eat even more because, our income improved. My father started helping me, and, I've never seen all that stuff. Till the age of 15, I haven't even been like to any decent, cafe or anything like that. And imagine I get this opportunity. I've tried it all, I couldn't stop. I just was eating and eating and eating all the time, like 5,000 calories at a time. And together with the fact that I started having some means to actually eat and try all this tasty food and all this, milkshakes and stuff. And again, I continued to eat my stress away because my life was not pretty at the moment either. I don't want to go into too much details just because I don't want to have a pity party here. That's not the purpose of it. It's just that I tell about it a little bit on the background, so you would know that why I was eating and all that stuff. And then my thyroid did fail. I started having overactive thyroid. And even though many people think that overactive thyroid is a blessing, it's absolutely not true. I've been put on very serious hormone therapy, and which made me outrageously hungry, even more than usual, to the point that if I don't eat for like 30 minutes at a time, I would have like stomach pains. So that became a nightmare. I would wake up at nights and eat. I would constantly go into that binging for 1,000 calories at a time. And guess what happened? I gained astonishing 40 pounds in 3 months. And this is when my life became an absolute hell, in a sense that, imagine I'm 15 years old, I'm all this teenager in a bigger city, I'm trying to fit in, and I just get fat. I understand that maybe you think that, oh, what is like 40 pounds and all that stuff, but it wasn't that way when I was growing up. And where I was growing up, among the people which I was growing up, and that been insanely hard on me. So I ended up continuing all that stuff. I could not live without food. I didn't know how to live without food. My life sucked. I was, lonely. I couldn't fit in. The whole bullying continued, which it's literally never stopped. And then I stopped working out because I was so embarrassed to actually come back to working out. We moved. There was no dancing anymore. There were no volleyball anymore. It was just me in a big city and a computer. So guess what happened is that for like entire year or so, the first time in my life, I started sitting on my ass. I apologize for my French, just naming things the way they are. And my only best friend became the computer and all this internet, the chatting and all that stuff. So my entire life pretty much became as I said, internet. It became virtual. It was home, the university where I was bullied, and I hated it till the point of not funny. And computer and TV. Again, computer or fridge and cafes. I forgot. All right. So it was like, like that, and it was just a vicious circle which I wasn't able to break. I would go to every single freaking diet you can find in a book. Everybody would advise me, you just have to eat less, you have to try this, you have to try that. And guess what? It was minus 10 pounds, plus 10 pounds, minus 10 pounds, plus 10 pounds. I was literally, there were days when I just wake up in the mornings, and the only thing I wanted is just sit and cry and just like, that's it. And I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to show my nose anywhere. They're like, oh, you should go to the gym, you should go with that. And guess how that worked out? The first thing I saw when I walk in the gym near me, all this, like super skinny girls with like literally 110 pounds, which I used to be sometime, and everybody's just staring at my glutes, which barely fit in all these jeans. I refused to, to go up size. I was in the whole denial and all that stuff. It's been a very, very tough time. So 3 years later, after I finally put myself together, this is when I slowly came back to normal working out. This is when I've decided to change my lifestyle, to do whatever it takes to educate myself, to find the way to live a normal life, to find the way to eat the foods which I like, to have workouts which not going to occupy my entire life, to not to be afraid, to eat, not to be embarrassed of the fact that I cannot live without carbohydrates, completely. I just can't. I cannot starve myself. I refuse to, I refuse to do that. And I refuse to, to be 110 pounds again, because this is not who I am. I'm not built for that anymore. I'm not 12 anymore. I'm almost 28. And this is where all the journey of me, finding the way started, and this is where I started gaining my skills. It started little by little. I gained, in these 3 years, I started pretty much working out by magazines, learning all the basic forms, buying a lot of DVDs, and reading about nutrition. And this is where I had a breakthrough, because this is when I learned that customization is the key. This is when I created my own system, which I already have now. I write my own nutrition. I apologize, I still have this cold. All my nutrition guides, and I have a very preset, tricks and methods which I use to get myself in shape, and my personal training clients and my students, and keep them in shape. When I became 18, I realized I actually lost all the weight, but I realized that I might need a little bit of a professional help in regards of building muscles, and this is when I actually hired a personal trainer. which I had, I worked out with her for 8.5 months, and she taught me everything I needed to know, like not everything, but a lot of the basics when it came to the weight training and all that stuff. So in this 3 years, as I said, I've gained a lot of experience because every single day I underline it. For a very long time, I've been actually collecting all the exercises, reading about the nutrition, trying certain things out, and taking myself very, very seriously. So then, as I said, when I was 18, I went to a personal trainer, and we worked out for 8 months. And then I did quit because it became so unbearably hard that I was dreading. I was preparing myself for like 3 days at a time to actually come back to the gym because it was unbearably hard. How sore I was, how much we worked out, how obsessed I still, I still was obsessed. When as I said, when I in a gym environment, I realized that I get obsessed about, every little thing I eat, and how much weight I take and all that stuff. So I shamefully did quit. And this is when, I spent several years, couple of years actually, again, learning all that, how to sustain all that, all these methods, how to, again, find the balance between eating and still staying in shape, the same in regards to working out. And then I immigrated to US. All right, so I was almost 21 and a half when I came to United States to study in local university. And this is when I had a lot of my weight, when I gained a lot of my weight back, because it was the second wave of me actually sitting on my glutes. I had no other option because when I came and I tried to get a bachelor degree, I didn't have too much time. Because I had to take outrageous amount of credits because we quarreled with my father, and he pretty much refused to pay, and I had to study like hours and upon hours at a time. So what happened is that the first Christmas in America, I spent the months, it was like a very rural area sitting, I gained 16 pounds. Everybody, wanted me to try all these pies. I didn't know what to do with myself, couldn't go anywhere. I really needed a break, as I said, because I studied like 12 hours a day. So I just got tempted, I got tempted by all this food, by going out and, trying all that stuff. And as I said, I gained a lot of weight. And this is when I was 22, I finally, really decided to find a way to, as I said, like, this would be my last attempt in a sense, to actually, get in shape and stay in shape. All right, so here is what I did for the last 6 years, and here is what I want you to know about me as an instructor. Alright, so at the age of 22, I did come back to the gym, to the local university gym. And this is when I lost a lot of the weight. And this is when I started going into more of a cardio. This is when I started running. This is when I started trying more advanced workout systems, including things like P90X and kickboxing. During about, I would say, 4 years, I gained outrageous amount of experience in any area of fitness you can imagine. I spent almost a year and a half doing very, very serious weightlifting, lifting like a man, free weights, having Schwarzenegger's techniques, and learning everything I need to know. I did have a six-pack in 2011. I still have pictures. If you want to request to see how it looked, I can actually give it to you. And this is when I learned more about the nutrition, in a sense that not only, little tricks here and there of how to eat and how to cut down my portions, but everything I needed to know about the protein, all the ratios, how to build muscles, and all that stuff. Over the course of this 4 years, I actually learned a lot about, as I said, all kinds of fitness and all the form, and there was weight training, there was all the running, all the circuit training, every little thing that you can imagine about fitness and nutrition, every single trend I did know. Then I got certified as a personal trainer 3 years ago, and the last 3 years actually I've spent going into the rehabilitation. This is something that I'm very, very strong at. Pretty much the whole concept of the low impact cardio and physical therapy and low impact, method, ways of actually getting you in shape, making your body really, really strong. This is when I pretty much started specializing in Pilates, which I said already had a lot of experience with them. When I was growing up, pretty much they did use Pilates to condition our bodies to make it strong and flexible for dancing. The last 3 years as a personal trainer, I spent with people and clients with very, very serious injuries like herniated disc injury, there was arthritis, there were reconstructive knee surgeries, there were all kinds of shoulder injuries you can imagine. And I've pretty much been developing a method of how to help the people, to increase their flexibility, to increase the range of motion of their joints, to gently strengthen their entire body and especially their core. And this is how actually the whole idea of my own Pilates studio came into my mind. In fact, I actually have a very, very big dream of coming up with a complete low impact system, which would include low impact cardio combined with very specific strength training, Pilates inspired, gymnastics inspired, and also will include stretches of all areas of fitness you can imagine, like physical therapy, yoga, dancing, and Pilates. This is my very, very big dream, which I've been having for a very long time as of now, and I really hope that one day I will actually pull it together and come up with that. But as of now, what I'm doing, I am slowly going into this concept. So what I did is I already mentioned in a previous video a little bit. I came up with 5 kinds of unique fitness classes, which pretty much altogether is a mini system itself. So with these classes I actually teach at my studio, which is Pilates and with Alina. So the 5 classes again I'm going to announce are: there is a beginner's mat Pilates, there is Bandilates, there is Cardilates Light, Cardilates Intense, and the rehabilitation class. So pretty much there is beginner's Pilates to help you strengthen your core. I'm just going to describe the classes just a little bit. Bandilates is a unique class which combines Pilates with resistance bands for an extra strength and challenge. And Cardilates Light and Cardilates Intense is one of my favorite classes, and what they are, they're pretty much a combination of low impact aerobics, which we're doing standing up. They're very interesting combination from a little bit of dancing and kickboxing and 80s aerobics with dynamic stretching. It's a stretching done in motion, and lying down class traditional stretching. So the purpose of the Cardilates classes is pretty much to burn the calories and to stretch your body. And of course the last class is the rehabilitation class, which the primary function is to help you recover from your old injuries, or to help you feel better. For example, if your muscles get tight from sitting. So it does include some exercises from physical therapy and for range of motion, and a little bit of stretching from physical therapy. So as you can see, the video is already 25 minutes long, and in conclusion, I would like to tell you is that, as I said, the primary reason why I decided to do this video, I wanted to share my entire story. And in conclusion, I would like to say is that as I said, I have my own, system when it comes to nutrition and, Pilates and working out. And if you have an opportunity to actually come to my classes, and you can actually experience it for yourself, to see how I teach and how supportive I am, and I just want to say is that you know, that it's not, I am still, you know, struggling every day, in a sense, not struggling, but you know, when it comes to food, as I said, it's a big temptation. When it comes to working out, you know, there are days when, you know, when I'm tired, when I'm sick, but I just wanted to say in a conclusion that it's never about, you know, being perfect all the time. I don't want you, also I would like to say that I don't want you to be embarrassed of the fact that you, like, you know, eat sometimes a little bit more, that you're not always, you know, 100% working out. I don't want you to think this way about yourself, because I used to think about myself like this, but now I'm not embarrassed, you know, to say that, you know, sometimes I eat a little bit of more sugar than usual, and sometimes, you know, I don't push 100%, you know, I don't bring my heart rate anymore to 193 as I used to with all this jump training. But it's never about that, you know, it's about trying, it's about, you know, doing your best and staying consistent. So if you like this video, I really hope that you're gonna stop by and try my classes, and again, you're gonna see in action how I teach, and I'll see you next time.